With a losing City, Jeff, for these next 4 to 6 weeks, I mean, in your all's first 11 games, I mean, even beyond stats, I mean, what sort of an important role did he play for this team? And is there a guy in City's absence who you kind of turn to and say, okay, we're going to need a little bit more from you?
Yeah, it was a big role. He was very important for our team with his experience, his ability to defend multiple positions, his ability to kind of initiate our offense from the point guard position. He gave us the ability to play X off the ball, to play those two together, and he had two guys that could create off the bounce and be a little bit disruptive defensively. So it's a big loss for us. And it's not one person that has to step up. Everyone has to step up, and we have to try to collectively fill that void that we're going to have, for the period that he's out.
With City, is it a knee injury?
It's his foot,
okay.
ankle.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it is. It's a leg. I shouldn't say it's it's not a foot. It's not an ankle. It's a leg. It's like a lower extremity. Yeah.
Who would you turn to then as your backup point guard?
We'll see. We have to work on that. We have to figure that out. It could be Malik Ellison. Could be McGowan's. Jared Wilson-Frame's guy that could initiate offense for us. We'll see. That's something we're working, trying to figure out.
When you lose guys that aren't in the starting lineup in the first place, yeah, you're going to lose depth, but does that sometimes change the way you're going to want your guys in front of them to play now, knowing that you have less depth behind them? Or you're going to have to say, X, you can't, you can't afford to have him in foul trouble
Yeah,
now.
you cannot afford to have him in foul trouble. So certainly it does. It changes some of the things we'll do in practice. It changes a lot, actually. Mindset of, how much do we pressure? Yeah, it does change a lot. And those are things we're still, working to figure out.
Some of the similar stuff going on with the depth in the front court with not having now Peace and Shamil?
I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily in games, in practice, but I don't think that's affected us that much. We've actually had really good practices. Again, other guys have stepped up and have appreciated the opportunity to get more reps. Samson has had really good practices. And so it gives us an opportunity for other guys to get more reps and, the possibility of getting more opportunities, or getting an opportunity, I should say.
Do you think, Jeff, with having less depth there, even if those guys didn't play that much, we had talked about like playing super small ball lineups earlier, where maybe somebody like Dees would be the tallest person out there. Could you envision yourself maybe with a less depth now among your big men? Could you envision yourself maybe turning to that sort of look more?
Definitely. That is something that we can do, and we'll have to do, and we will do. Yes, that is something.
We had talked about going into the year, Shamil was someone who was the second leading returner from the previous year's team. I mean, what was that just didn't really seem to kind of work, or like schematically with what you guys wanted to do? Was it just not a good fit in terms of his skill set?
Shamil's a really talented young man. He has this big body. He has the ability to be powerful. He can shoot it. He was a good rebounder last year. But I think the thing, not just for him, but for any player, it's not about what you did last year. It's about what you do right now in the present moment. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out for Shamil. He didn't feel like this was the best fit for him. And I respect him I respect his desire to want to play. And I respect his his wanting to go somewhere else where he feels like he would have more of an opportunity to play. And, you know, look, when you go to college, you know, to play a sport, and you're fortunate enough to be able to get a scholarship, you want the ability to actually play, and he hasn't played. And so, again, you know, there are no hard feelings. I think he's handled everything well. We're going to do everything we can to help him. You know, there'll be no restrictions on anything, and we wish him well. It's just, you know, unfortunately, it didn't work out for him here.
Jeff, after last game, you made the comment that, you know, you're not at the point where you can really experiment with things. But with 2 non-conference games left and now the injuries and departures, are you going to have to use these next couple of games to see what lineup combinations are going to work in live situations?
You know, I don't think, because the 2 guys that we've lost, as far as the transfers, you know, they really weren't in the rotation. And so that doesn't affect us as far as that's concerned. Now, the city that one will be one that we have to kind of navigate through and figure out. And we'll work on that. You know, he was one of the first guys off of our bench. And so, again, that gives Cameron Davis more of an opportunity, and I really love how he's playing. The past few games that he's played, and even more so in practice, and what he provides for us. He has experience, he's played, and I think you know, he'll step up. It'll change maybe a couple of roles. You know, if you go back and you look at the exhibition game that we played, I don't think City played then, and you know, he didn't play in our scrimmage, and so Malik was the guy that was the backup point for us. We haven't done that as much because we haven't had to with City, but that's something that, you know, we'll go back to. Fortunately, we had that experience, and we had some time in practice because City was hurt early. And so, you know, it's just kind of getting Malik back reps there and doing that. And maybe by doing that, maybe that opens up something for us that's new and exciting, and something that will help us. Maybe we find something. And so I'm excited about that possibility. You know, and again, but it gives an opportunity to Cameron Davis to step up, and I think he'll really be ready for it.
How much has the way, you know, Xavier seems to have made the transition to the Division I level very successfully, sort of made this? I mean, there's a situation where coming into the season, you could have figured that City would have been an absolutely vital part of the team at this point. Seems like Xavier's, you know, ability has made this something you feel like you can work through.
Well, we have to work through it. So, you know, and we have to feel like we can work through it. I mean, there's no other alternative. You know, certainly Xavier has gotten off to a good start. But, you know, as we all know, this thing gets harder as we go forward. And, you know, these last 2 non-conference games are going to be tough. You know, New Orleans is one of the better defensive teams statistically in the country right now. And they play really hard. And then the game after Christmas is going to be a really difficult one because that's a good team with a really good coach. And then after that, you start conference, and so they become more difficult. And so, you know, we have to figure it out. And but I do like how he's played. You know, I like his approach. But I like how we've played. You know, I like how guys have stepped up, and you know, with the exception of one game, I think we've competed as hard as everyone, and really harder than everyone. And so that's something that has to be constant for us.
City was someone, Jeff, who talking to him in the preseason, he had talked about really wanting to move up to maximize this 1 year that he had left and show that he can compete in the ACC and compete against top competition. How has he seemed to kind of handle everything, you know, with the recent development here? I mean, obviously that's a very tough blow for him, but how does he seem to be handling it?
You know, this is tough for him because, and you know, I think it's been tough for him just because he's been hurt a good amount of time that he's been here. You know, just all these knick-knack injuries, and you know, I don't know if that played a part to this being a serious one. And so that's been disappointing for him. But you know, he's had a great attitude, even with him getting hurt and finding out this news. He's been very positive in practice, very encouraging. You still hear his voice, although he's not up, but you know, upright. You still hear him. He's still engaged, and he still can have a big impact on this period that he's out. And that keeps him into the game. So when he is able to get back, there's still a connection. One of the worst things that can happen for a kid is they get hurt and they feel so sorry for themselves that they can't give anything to their team, or they don't give anything to their team. He still has valuable experience. He's older, he's been through a lot, he's seen a lot in college basketball, and he can still help us. Although he can't play, he can still have a great impact on our team, and we need him to do that.
Outside of any changes, obviously you might be talking about making it. Is there something that you'd like to see from your team these last 2 games that maybe you haven't seen at the level that you'd like it to be at this point in the non-conference?
I'd love to see us not turn the ball over as much, and I'd love to see us rebound better. Especially defensive rebound. Those are the 2 areas that have been a big point of concern for us. I thought we did a pretty good job early, especially with the turnovers, and really from the second half of Iowa until the present time, we haven't done as good a job there. We have to be better. Now, part of that is that I think, teams have film on us, and so they're able to study us and scout us a little bit more, and to do some different things against us. But we have to do a better job there, and then we have to rebound better. We have to pursue the ball, not just block out. We have to go after it, and we need 5 guys doing it. So those are the 2 things I'd love to see us improve in.
Yeah, this is looking forward a little bit, Jeff. I mean, with at least 5 open scholarships now for next season, how much does that sort of accelerate your building process here and what you want to do and accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've never put a timetable on it. We want to build this thing the right way and make sure we get the right people, not just talent. We want to make sure we get the right people that fit what we want to do and what our mission, is, and in the manner that we want to do it. And so I've never put a timetable on it. We've been actively recruiting. It's something that we always do. We're going to continue to do, and hopefully we have some success here soon.